This is a video response in a debate I'm going to have with Rusda2. I had challenged him several times to a face-to-face debate on Stickum, but apparently he has chosen not to do that since he won't meet me on Stickum, and has chosen rather to debate me through videos, so I would gladly accept their debate. Now, the first video I'm going to make will be dealing with a response to a video he put up called The Greatest Commandment, Love of God. So let's go right to his video now in this debate and see what he had to say. First of all, the question is, what did Ellen White mean by the greatest commandment being the Sabbath command? If you will notice in his video, all he did was give his opinion of what he thought Ellen White was saying. He didn't even cite the book in which she said it in. And the book she cited that in was in early writings of Ellen White. But for some reason he chose not to even give a citation to the book. He just comes out and gives his opinion on what he thinks she said. Now 10, 12 people could read this, and all of them might walk away with a different opinion. When the truth is, that's all it would be. It would be just an opinion, and not based on facts or the context in which Ellen White said that the greatest commandment was the greatest commandment of all. If you happen to have a copy of early writings of Ellen White, and I got this from Ellen White Estates in a PDF file, on page 27 she starts talking about the Sabbath in there. This is as early as 1847, when she is talking about the Sabbath and how holy the Sabbath is, and the holy Sabbath, and she makes a statement on page 27 in this winged flight that she had to heaven, where she said the holy Sabbath looked glorious and a halo of glory was all around it. This is a picture, so to speak, of what she was supposed to have seen in the Ark of the Covenant, with the 10 Commandments there, and highlighted just for her was the Sabbath command. And this is on page 27 of early writings. If you'll go on, she makes a statement later on in July 27th of 1850, time is almost finished. Now, why is she saying that time is almost finished in 1850? She's saying that because she had once again predicted the return of Christ in 1851. Remember, Christ didn't come back in 1844, so Joseph Bates came over the theory that because Jesus sprinkled the blood, or the high priest sprinkled the blood on the mercy seat 7 times, that they had 7 more years left. So now they changed it to 1851. And that's the background of why in July 27th of 1850 she is saying time is almost ready. And then she once again begins talking about the Sabbath, where she says this: it was a great and wonderful for me, and this is another winged flight vision she's having. It was a great and wonder for me that any could transgress the laws of God and tread down the holy Sabbath. So here she is talking about the Sabbath. It isn't in the context of a day of worship or praising God or getting close to God like Rusda2's opinion was about. It is about the Sabbath per se itself. It has nothing to do with a worship setting. Now she goes on here from page 27 up to page 34, off and on about the Sabbath and making different statements about the Sabbath, and then she comes all of a sudden to what she called the mark of the beast, which the mark of the beast is, if you don't worship on the Sabbath, then you either have the mark of the beast or you will get the mark of the beast sometime later. And then on page 34 of early writings, she breaks in after saying all these things about the Sabbath and says this: the Pope has changed the day of rest from the 7th to the first day. He has sought to change the very commandment that was given us to remember God. He has thought to change the greatest commandment in the 10 Commandments. Let me repeat that again from early writings, page 34. He, the Pope she's referring to, has sought to change the greatest commandment in the 10 Commandments. And to Rusda2's dismay, this wasn't about bringing somebody into a worship service, as his feeble opinion about this states. This was strictly about the Sabbath and Ellen White's view about the Sabbath. And according to her, the greatest commandment or the Sabbath command. That's exactly what she's saying. He is talking about the Sabbath. He, the Pope, is thought to change the greatest commandment in the Ten Commandments. Of course, anyone who is a Christian knows that Jesus, when asked about which is the greatest commandment, said that to love God is the greatest commandment, and the second one was to love thy neighbor. So that is the context in which Ellen White is saying that the Sabbath is the greatest command, not in the context of an opinion given by Rusda2 with absolutely not even a reference to the book that it came from, so people could go check and know what the context of it was. To see that the context in which she said the Sabbath was the greatest command was not in the context that he had stated in his opinion about this. So it is quite obvious that Ellen White put herself above Jesus and overrides Jesus. When Jesus said the greatest commandment is to love God, she said, no, it's not. The greatest commandment is the Sabbath command. That is the context in which she is putting this. That is the context of which she is saying the Sabbath is the greatest command. And I'm quite disappointed in the only thing Rusda could do was give an opinion without even giving anyone the book it was written in, the page it was written on, or even trying to put it in the proper context. So, in essence, what he has done is give you nothing more than an opinion about what he thought she said, and I've taken this video and put it in the context in which it was said, showed you where she said it, why she said it, and hopefully you can understand now that facts from her books are far better than an opinion of someone over 100 years later. So until the next time I have an opportunity to debate Rusda2, this has been Golly saying, God bless.